Hey guys, Jay from Cold Nights here, and in today's discussion, we're going to look at finding the true value of video games. Now, when I think about the true value of video games, I kind of have a couple different components that go into it. So the ones that we're going to touch on first are not the ones I have incredible graphics for, but they are still important. So for me, whether it's a new or a retro game, one of the things I'm looking for when I make a purchase is what I think the future resale value will be. So that is very important. Now that can be heavily dependent on the genre, right? If you pick up a brand new JRPG from, say, NIS, and you pick up College Football 25 or the new Madden, those games may be popular now, but they lose tremendous value every year when a new game comes out. So they'll have very little resale value as far as being able to either trade that in or sell that far down the line. So the JRPG or an action game may have more value in that sense immediately and further down the line. So when we go on to the next one we're looking at, all right, for me, it is how does it fit into the collection? Do I want to display it? Is it something that I'd be willing to buy an alternate case art for from someone on Etsy or eBay and add to my displays? Is it something I would like to get posters for and make like a nice little display with the game, the posters, the figures? Now, something like Madden or MLB The Show or Call of Duty may not really fit into that, but a JRPG or a Castlevania game could very well fit into your collection as far as aesthetics. So I think that's really important too when you're considering how it's going to fit into your collection. One of the other things that's important too when we're talking about the true value of a game is where you're at with your budget, right? So if you can't afford this game, then that value and that potential is going to be out of your reach. So when we're talking about something like Kuon or Rule of Rose, they don't really fit into this equation because even someone that makes good money probably doesn't have $600 to $1,000 to throw down the drain. But you might be able to find an incredible game that fits the aesthetic of your collection, that fits the pattern of your collection, that fits the theme of your collection, has a ton of gameplay, and will keep you entertained on, say, the Game Boy Advance or the Nintendo DS. And that will have more value to you as a collector than something that may be more valuable and may have more resale value, but it's fairly unobtainable because of your finances or because those games can be so rare that it's hard to find them listed, even if you had the money and the desire to do so. The first thing we're going to look at, though, for the main theme of this video is what I like to call gameplay per hour. And I think that is the true indicator of value when we're talking about new games or retro games. And it's a very basic equation, right? I look at two different forms of it. Your normal completion and your completionist completion. Now, that is very important to some of us for completionists, and other people may only want to play the story of the game. So that will make a difference in what these computations I'm going to show you in these graphics will mean to you. But the first one I want to look at is for Xenoblade Chronicles X. All right, so Xenoblade Chronicles X is on the Wii U, right? Incredible JRPG. Its average completion for story is 67.5 hours. 253 hours for a completionist run, and that game currently is going for $29 complete in box. It has come down some. That equation adds up to 43 cents per hour for the basic completion and only 11 cents per hour for completionist completion. So that game has a tremendous value. And when I say value, I mean value for your money, right? $29 complete in box. That's not like a crazy collector's item. In the past, it had been more, It's starting to come down even more now with the definitive edition being announced. But when you look at the value for what you paid, if you like that gameplay enough, and I know I did, I just streamed it and did 90 hours. And the only reason I didn't do a full post-game run, get all the best skills and everything, was because I'm waiting for the definitive edition. But I put 90 hours in, did a ton of affinity quests and storyline quests, and completed the game at 90 hours on stream. But 11 cents per hour for completionists. So that is something to me that has incredible value for your money. So next, we're going to look at something on the other spectrum. All right, and this is not about what game is better. I'm not here to debate that. But the next one we're going to look at is Black Myth Wukong. So, Black Myth Wukong just came out recently. It's been very popular, got pretty good ratings. It is 36 hours for a basic story run, 66.5 hours for a completionist run. $54 complete in box is what the game is currently going for. That's $1.50 per hour for the basic run, and 81 cents per hour for the completionist run. Now, that is quite a bit less of a value, but here's the thing, not every gamer is the same. Many gamers that enjoy JRPGs or graphic novels may not enjoy the intensity of a game like Black Myth Wukong. I have not played it yet, but from what I've heard, it's very much a Souls-like. I'm fairly good at those. I'm not like an expert gamer, and if you've seen any of my streams, you know some games I'm very bad at. But not everyone's interested in that. Just like someone who likes games like Black Myth Wukong or Lies of P or, Souls-likes may find JRPGs to be slow and boring. So this is not about me telling you what games you should play or that Black Myth Wukong is bad and Xenoblade Chronicles is good. But I prefer Xenoblade. But we're going to look at a third game here that's a little more confusing when you look at the stats. So we're going to look at Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition on the Switch. So, 17 hours for the basic story completion. A whopping 361 hours for a completionist run, and many people say it's more. $45 complete in box. $2.65 per hour for the basic run, 12 cents per hour for the completionist run, and that would actually probably be below 10 cents per hour, because some people say a true completionist run in that game can run from 600 to 1,000 hours. So that game, if you are only looking to complete the story, is not actually a very good value. But if you're in it for the completionist run, and if it really is that much more, and it is, because I can say that I have not even completed all of the challenge maps, and I've put about 400 hours into it. So that's not even getting all of the characters up to the new max of 255 for the levels or anything like that. But that game has kind of a strange dichotomy there, because if you're only interested in the basic story, say you love Zelda and you want to hear another story about how all these Zelda characters from different timelines come together, 17 hours. But if you were like me and you want to get Peach and Skull Kid and Impa to level 255, which I did, that is a crazy value. And out of the three, probably the best value. So I think one of the things that we really need to look at when we talk about games is the intrinsic value to them. Now there's one more, I didn't do a graphic on it, right? And I know it's not for everybody, but we did kind of talk about sports games, and we kind of downed them a little bit. I've always been one of those people that's a geek jock. I love baseball, I love basketball, loved hockey as a kid. But baseball is my life. And as much as I play JRPGs and a ton of games, MLB The Show is a day one purchase every year. Yes, I do microtransactions. I'm addicted to buying packs. I don't spend nearly as much as I used to, but I still spend a lot. I put 700 hours into that game. So I bought it for $60 when it came out. I kept track of how much I spent. I spent about $200 on microtransactions this year. 700 hours. That is crazy. Even if you factor in the money I spent on the microtransactions and make the total purchase $260, that's still a crazy value. So I'm not belittling games like NBA 2K or College Football 25 or MLB The Show or Madden. because those can have tremendous value for people that like to complete all of the programs that come out, or that like to complete the card sets, or that play online a significant amount. The same thing may go for games like Call of Duty, where the story may only run you 10 to 20 hours, but the amount of time and excitement someone may get that really likes FPS games playing online simply can't be matched. So the value really is different for every person, but it's still important for you individually to be a responsible collector and consumer to consider those things. So that's why I always suggest to people, go to this great website, How Long to Beat, right? And they have user reviews and polls. And it's not just one person saying the game is this long, they have an aggregate of many, many people. When I looked these up, I was using my own experience, but looking on there was 300-400 ratings for each. So I feel pretty confident in the numbers they showed me. So if you're looking at two games, say you're looking at Black Myth Wukong and you have the numbers that were in my graphic, and then you're also looking at another new game you want to try out, you might want to compare them and see how they go against each other. Maybe you want to get Stellar Blade. Look up Stellar Blade, compare it to Black Myth Wukong. If you know you're going to like the gameplay of both those games, right? Neither of them are probably going to be highly collectible, so we can kind of put that aside. Then you can compare the true value of how much gameplay per dollar you're going to get. All you need is a calculator on your phone. I used GameEye for the values, and that gets its information off price charting. And then check out How Long to Beat for a pretty reliable look into how much time you can expect to spend on either a basic run or a completionist run for those games. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Not something real in depth, just another way to look at the value of both new and retro games when you're adding them to your collection. So guys, I thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week with another discussion video, or maybe we'll do a value list video. We'll see. But if you like what we're doing here, guys, smash that like button, share the video out, and subscribe, please. And I do want to say a special thank you to everyone. We just today hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm so excited. I appreciate all of the support, and I love all you guys. And as always, stay creepy.